Hello and welcome to today's session. We're looking at the Apex Trader Funding 300k evaluation. We've got the DAX as usual, and we're looking to make some money, get this a little bit higher. This is day 4 of this challenge, so 304,600 up, so about 4.5k up. We've got to get to 20 to get funded. Yesterday we ended it, I think I was up 3k, but I made another 1600 thereabouts on the DAX. I'll show you what happened before we go and do some analysis of the markets. So yeah, 1600, what happened was, I'll just see if I can pop that off now. Expected the market to reject off here, so these triple bands, which it did for a few attempts. However, it did break through, headed towards the R2, but then turned back around, got about halfway to the close gap from those bands, the triple bands, retraced all the way back up, basically got a double top, not quite, and then we came down to hit the actual target we were expecting. So what I did was I got in a little bit later, took quite a bit of heat, but it wasn't too heavy for the account, so I survived, and it would have been okay had I have gone all the way to the R2, so that was okay. Not my ideal situation, but we did see that massive pullback after we spiked up towards that R2. So what happened was I was in the market, I ended up going to gym, wasn't watching for that entire trade session, but I came back and saw the market was in profit a decent amount. Now the issue is I held this position. Obviously I hoped it was going to land at the close gap and perhaps hover around that price for another hour or so. It was quite a quick move compared to the rest of the trading that we've been seeing. So what's happened is I've been, I guess, pulled into the trailing drawdown during that trade. And now when I open this, so I'm 304,600 up, my max trailing drawdown should be about 7.5k from the high watermark. Now, because we've pulled back quite a bit where I exited, still in profit, I've only got 2,500 max drawdown to play with. Now, as I move into profit, that's not going to reduce, which is good, but I've only got a limited amount to be able to basically play with because of that that positive move. So we came all the way down or halfway down to that close gap, which would have been probably another 5k on what I've got here. So it would have been close to 10k or halfway to target. On day 3 of trading. However, that is not the case. So we've just got to, I guess, play it a bit safer today and see if we're able to get it to work. Going into the analysis today, we've got even tighter triple banding. We're opening around the close and pivot by the look, so we've got 7 minutes to go. I can't see us moving too far from this point, and what I'll expect is that we perhaps go long, so we'll probably be quite bullish at this session. The alternative is, of course, that we go south, head towards this bottom banding here, which I would buy from. Alternatively, I will be looking to sell from up here. I may even, depending on the price action at the open, I'll be looking to buy around the open and just hope the market pushes up, taking advantage of that, the bullish nature of the market. So we'll see based on the price action, the order flow, of course, that we look at each day to determine whether we're going to get in or out. But basically just using these pivot points as a guide. So the pivot points determine the price where I'm interested in. However, the order flow is where I actually look to have a bit more of a deeper understanding of what's really going on. So you can see up here one little thing to note as well, a little tip with Tradovate. I've got the quantity set to 3 because that was the amount of contracts I had in last night, which was short, and I exited the position. It stays at 3, it doesn't revert back to 1, so I just want to only trade with one contract and perhaps build into a position should I see it fit. Noting the trailing drawdown has squeezed me, so I'll change that to 1, so I'm not going to accidentally get into too many contracts at the open. I want to have everything set up and ready so that I can make the right decision when the market sets up. Now I'm just going to zoom in. We've got, what have we got? 5 minutes till the open. We've had some support around this close and pivot. So we'll see if that holds. I'm hoping that we'll get an impulsive move up, which I want to take advantage of if I see buying coming in and perhaps good rejection off the pivot and close. Remembering also the trailing drawdown is a lot tighter than it should be for this size account because of the profit I was in last night and I didn't take it at its maximum. So we've only got 2.5k of trailing drawdown to work with. We need to, I guess, work within that, even though we're in profit. So I find that rule a little bit frustrating. I really would prefer to trade on a daily drawdown kind of setup, but it is what it is. Those are the rules, and that's why Apex is so cheap in essence, is because it is quite hard to pass with that trailing drawdown the way it works. If you can work within its limits, it's really quite positive. Good morning, Trek Lord. Thanks for joining. You're trading the NQ this morning as well, or this afternoon, I should say. Thanks for coming back along. Really good to see you here. So as I was saying, basically looking for some longs if I can get in around this pivot, which is the purple line on the CFD charts. Really looking for a solid push up, and I'll be looking to get out probably a little bit before we hit these levels because I don't want to kind of be caught in something that's going to come back down. I think we're going to potentially trade within these bands, very similar to what happened yesterday. Obviously we overextended a little higher, but these bands are very tight, so I'm hoping they will hold a little more steady. We've got some buy contracts, it looks like, on the ask side. I'll just reduce that down. So 10 and 11. That's on the mini DAX. So just checking out the full DAX. And those are the big contracts we've got to watch. So thanks for watching, guys, as well. Thanks for coming along. Your likes do support this channel quite a bit. I really appreciate the likes. We've been calling it quite well. Execution hasn't been my strong point, but the analysis behind it has been fairly sound. And what I'm expecting is that if we see on the order flow looking for opportunities to get long around this level, if we do break below this close and pivot area in the center, then perhaps we'll be looking down towards this triple banding lower. And the market seems to be pulling away. We've got 2 minutes till open, a minute and a half. So I will be wary that the market could head down to this price zone. I'll quickly run through. So bearish on the monthly, steady on the weekly. We haven't moved too much at all, but could be turning back around. If we follow the recent trend, we'll be heading south. Daily, very much in a range bound situation. I'll just zoom in a little. So very range bound, nothing much happening. Possible downsides over the coming couple of days. 4 hour. So look, the 4 hour on this high, the Bollinger Band, if we hit this triple banding up high, the 4 hour Bollinger Band upper will be in place. And obviously we'll close that gap because we're about to hit it in 30 seconds. I would say if we get up higher. The 1 hour, the Bollinger Bands are sort of aligned with the triple bands. Same for the 30-minute, they'll be really quite strong. 15-minute, same deal. 5-minute, again, same. So we're really looking for any sort of solid interaction. Off the bands at the open, we've got 4 seconds, so I just want to be ready. We're pulling away. I'm looking for opportunity to go long. It's pulling away, no real indications just yet. Going to get long here, just it seems to be sort of a bit of activity right at this price point. Look, I kind of want to just get out because that's closed the gap. I just want to get out of this position just now. Probably could have stayed in, but I wasn't getting the massive spike I was looking for. I still think we'll probably go up, but I just didn't want to hold it just in case we go the other direction. So, up $50, not an ideal situation. We kind of jumped around a little bit. Trailing max drawdown 2,600, so I think it's increased a touch. As I mentioned, because of yesterday's profitable trading after the live session, unfortunately I didn't take it at its full potential and it squeezed me quite a bit. Trek Lord having a break-even day, that's it's good that you're able to come back anyway. So I know it's disappointing when you have a break-even day. I've been there, but it's much better than a loss. You can always hang in there and come back, and I guess that's where patience is key. Just waiting for the proper setup to show itself. Now I'm glad I got out of that position. We kind of came up, touched that close gap properly, so it's now filled, and the market's kind of dropping away. We're watching this order flow to identify a situation where the market's going to say, right, this is it, this is where we're going to get in. For now, it's not something I want to get in on, particularly long. I'm not sure when we're going to go turn back around, so I don't want to get short here yet either. I'd expect we'll come down towards this price point down here, but it's not always the case. That is the big contracts I'm after. That could be what we're looking for. Just waiting for a bit more confirmation on that. And thanks for joining, guys. Your likes really are appreciated for coming along. I really, that's what keeps me coming back, is you guys enjoying the session and being a part of what I'm trying to do here, which is just share my experience on the Apex Trader funding accounts. Now these two big contracts here, those who follow along, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a really big reason for the market to turn back around. I'm not convinced we're there just yet, but I am looking for that indication. I think we're kind of close, but I don't want to take heat just in the middle of nowhere in relation to the pivot points. So at this 26, that kind of tells me, okay, some big players are here. They're moving the market in a particular direction. I don't imagine that was, that could have been stop losses on the short side potentially. So buyer limit orders. So they've wanted the market to go up, and limit orders have, stops have been taken out at these points, just below all of this activity down here, which makes sense. Those stops have now been, I guess, hunted out, and the market may be ready to go long. I'm not getting in just yet because I'm not sure. I haven't seen massive indication that this 28 and the 36 contract levels are going to be respected. So I'm just really needing to see a flurry of activity, basically, to say, right, the buyers are taking charge, we're heading long, and I'm just not quite convinced. Now, if you're just trading purely on the CFD charts, you won't see any of this. So you won't be able to build a picture as to why the market might be turning around, or why it's slowed down a little bit, and why we're not heading straight down towards this low. So potentially some stop losses for buyers they've kind of hit their limit there, and they wanted to get out in case the market didn't go their way. They've perhaps been hunted. It doesn't look to be like it's aggressive buying because it hasn't taken hold quickly enough, I would imagine. But we may form a better picture on this candle. If we start to see perhaps a big limit order on the bid side down lower, like that, I guess, that could be, okay, that's missed. I'm going to buy at market here. So we've had a big 41 contract come in. The market moved quite abruptly after that. I could be wrong, but I was hoping, it's moved quite a bit. Maybe too late on that position. It sort of moved really fast. I couldn't get in quick enough. But that 41 was telling me, okay, there's a big buyer here, and they're looking to move the market. The market responded. Had some more buying up here, which is I was a little bit late to the party. So that's my slow response has cost me in this situation. I'm hoping this level will hold now, and the market will drift up, but there's still every chance that we're going to continue heading short towards this price point here. So really just seeing what goes on. Now down on the mini contracts, it looks like aggressive selling, but on the main contract, the one that probably drives the market a lot more, we've got 41 contracts on the ask side towards the low of the candle, telling me that it's probably not a limit sell. It's more likely to be an aggressive buyer. So we'll just have to see. We're not getting a great response here. Yeah, it was quite frustrating there, because it looked like on the depth of market that we were kind of still in the right position, but obviously I wasn't paying close enough attention. The market had moved a little bit too much, and now I'm kind of stuck in this one. I hope that, we've got this 29, 38 and 41. I am hoping that it does move the market, but I could be wrong if we kind of get down a little bit lower. That looks like 15s, unless that's limit buyers. It looks like aggressive selling to me, so I'm probably going to get out of this fairly quickly if I can. I don't want to ride this all the way down, so I'm probably just going to have my mouse over the exit at market button. I'm not overly happy with what's going on here. My trailing drawdowns sort of 2,000, and if we drop, I think it's going to move very quickly. Yeah, that's not great. Okay, I've got to get out of that. So I'm out. I took a $600 loss. We made about $50 early on, and I'm just waiting for a proper indication that a particular level is going to hold. So the 41 wasn't enough. I think the market is going to head down towards the previous day's low and the S1, for example, and then hopefully we'll see some indication that the full contract DAX is going to play a nice part. So we've got very thin trading. We're looking for a big contract to say the big players are in town and they're taking the market in a particular direction. These mini DAX contracts, there's a lot going on, but it doesn't really symbolize too much comparatively to the main DAX contracts, because this is what the big guys are watching. So I've got 6 there, 4, it's pushed right down, and now this is where I'm looking for that reaction to get long. So I think that might be it. So we had 15, where we've got a big limit order on this side. We've followed by aggressive buying to push the market up. I'm hoping that was what we're after. I have only about 2k on the trailing max drawdown now because of that loss. So really just hoping these pivot points plus what's going here on the depth of market holds steady and holds true. If we get all the way up to, there we go, we've got 10 contracts now, we're building it up. I'm hoping this really powers up. 11 contracts on the aggressive buying side, I'm hoping. And if we get a really strong bullish candle, we should be able to make up this $600 loss, or $650, because we actually had a $50 win really early on. Just need this market to really get some traction long. So what I was looking for, we've got all this thin order flow, and there was no buyers, there was no takers, long or short, and basically the market just fell apart all the way down to these pivot points on the CFD chart that I've got here. And then we saw this limit order, which is a limit buy, I would assume, that came in, and that was a lot bigger than all this other pricing, telling me that somebody says, okay, this is where we're going to turn around. That followed by the aggressive buying, people hitting the ask side or the red side over here to take the market up, was kind of my indication to say, okay, this market's turning around. Now, we may have already had the full reaction, but I am hoping that this triple banding will remain strong, because if we get lower, then obviously I'm in quite a bit of trouble here. For those of you watching, I do appreciate you guys liking the video and obviously the live session, and obviously if you appreciate the analysis and the education and that I'm bringing, your likes do mean a lot to me. So I really appreciate you A, coming along, and B, hitting the like button if you do appreciate what I'm sharing here. I know that I guess not many people trade live, particularly on real accounts and that kind of thing, and talk through what they're looking for. So we're kind of having the reaction. It takes a while. Now this is where I am not always at my strongest, so it's all like, often I'll get a bit flustered and I will just want to get straight out of the market when I'm in profit. We have had a big loss which I kind of held on to longer, telling me that obviously the same should work vice versa, and if I hold my analysis quite well and I just hang out and let it go towards where I want it to go, hopefully the market will respect the analysis, and if I'm right, then I'll be back in the green. One thing I want to do today, if I can get some good profitable trading, is to reduce this trailing max drawdown. So we're back up to 2.5. Now yesterday, because I let a trade run, it really cost me. So rather than having 7k max drawdown, it squeezed me, and then it came back up, and I closed out for a profit still, but it really took quite a beating. Now there's some activity here which I'm not overly stoked about. That might be some big players saying, right, that's enough of a reaction, we're going to keep heading south, which is not overly ideal, but I'm hoping that's not the case. It might just be a sort of a bit of an in-between situation where it doesn't actually affect the market too much, but it's a lot bigger than this 15 and 10. So what's going on here? That could have been a limit sell for 15. Excuse me. Followed by aggressive selling of 21 and 25, and then it's all quite thin here. So it's coming right back. It's really not what I was hoping for, but we're still in the green for now. So this is what I'm trying to focus on and work on, is hanging in there and sticking with my analysis, even when the market has retracements, because the market always retraces. It's very rare the market just blindly goes in one direction. It would be too easy for people to make money, and this is something that I need to work on as a trader, as effectively an amateur trader, trying to learn and develop my skills. I've got to be able to stick to my analysis, particularly that I've seen it work over and over and over. I need to stick to my guns and wait out the market. Now that's a big 32 contract there. It looks like aggressive selling to me now. So the picture is changing a little bit, because if that limit order, say it was down here lower, then it might be considered a limit buy, but it looks like aggressive selling because it's in the middle of nowhere. I'm not too sure what to make of this kind of middle of nowhere type order flow, so I'm just waiting to see how it pans out. I'm hoping this new 5-minute candle, so we're on a new 15-minute candle as well. So we've tapped the outside. Look, on a CFD chart, it looks incredible, but we've got all this extra information on the order flow kind of clouding what I'm thinking is going on. So I've just got to hope that the market is going to respect these levels, respect the Bollinger Bands, and perhaps these were limit buys. You know, it's outside the Bollinger Band. Somebody's come in and said, right, if we pull back a little bit, I'm going to get in. But there's not much aggressive buying going on either. So on the ask side, there's not too many red contracts kind of building it up at the moment either. So I'm really hoping that the buyers will come in. And also, guys, I've still got a couple of Apex Trader Funding challenges available for free. So you can go and pick any account, any platform on Apex Trader Funding. I'll send you the code, and then you can have a free account for 1 month and basically try and pass within that month. Or obviously you can pay, but to continue on, but you know, defeats the purpose of having that free account there. So if you're watching right now, just get involved in the chat, guys. Trek Lord's already won, so I can't give the same one away to the same people. If you're new here and you haven't already received an account, then you know, get active in the chat. I can get you to email me. I'll give you the code, and you can go and select your free Apex Trader Funding challenge. It is 80% off at the moment as well, so I've got the link in the chat there as well if you want to go get an account and follow along using code GFT. That'll get you the discount. Just going to zoom in on this. So that reaction didn't hold, so I'm thinking perhaps I should have taken a little bit off the table and you know, but that would be going against the analysis. I want to trust in what I was thinking. It's what I spoke about in the pre-market, and I do hope that we will come up and probably reach this upper band. But the issue is this trailing drawdown is squeezed to about 2K. This order flow here looks quite good. We've got 10 and 10, so hopefully limit buy followed by aggressive buying to push it up. Just perhaps retesting these levels before we head on the actual trajectory, because that is trading, and this is what I've got to work on. It's the patience factor, waiting for the analysis to play out. Trading just doesn't happen instantly, and that's why candles are plotted along a time graph, because it does take time. So I've got the price right. I'm hoping, of course, and then now it's about letting the market take me to where I want it to go. So I've got to just wait it out, be patient, and hope the market doesn't go against me. If it does start just not working, I'm going to have to get out just below this breakout short, I would say, because I can't take too much heat at all because of this drawdown, which ideally that would have reset overnight, but it's that end of, not even the end of day, it's just the trailing max drawdown. It really squeezes you out if you have a win and you don't take it at the highs. So the market's just fighting it out at the moment. I'll put it back on a 5-minute chart. had a nice green candle. It's kind of ranging at this price on the 5 minute. 30 minute, we'll see where we are. We're well outside the Bollinger Band on the 30 minute. Got another 10 minutes to go, but if we get a really nice, in 10 minutes, a really nice kind of turnaround off this 30 minute, we're outside that Bollinger Band. I'm hoping that the market will really say, okay, let's take this thing long. Oftentimes the DAX can be really disrespectful of the levels and what's going on. It'll just go flat out long or short. So that's something I do need to be aware of. It doesn't always respect the analysis and the concepts that that traders often teach. So we've just got to be careful of falling for our own analysis being the be all and end all. Traders are wrong all the time, and the important part is to actually manage your risk. So we're having a bit of a push off these levels here. I'll just be watching the order flow to see if I can get an indication whether I should just perhaps take a little bit of profit, soften that blow that we had earlier, or stay in and let it ride out as per my analysis originally said. Now, ultimately, I should stick to my analysis, but sometimes you just feel the pressure. So really just hoping we can break through. See, we had this 12 and now we've got a 10 over here just below. I do have concerns that that's somebody limit selling to push that market back down, followed by a bit of aggressive selling to push it. I'm hoping we can break through this level and continue long. NQ just took his stop, didn't even go. That's so frustrating when that happens. It's almost like the market can see exactly what you're thinking. It almost feels personal, doesn't it, at times? So we're having a reaction here, very thin trading. I'm hoping it remains thin and breaks through all of this kind of pricing here. If we can get through that, I think we might be on. So we're almost back to break even. We've got another sort of 4 or 5 points from the highs to be able to get back to that break even point and eliminate that losing trade that we had earlier. So I took a long trade, I should say, when I saw this 41. I thought that was the turning point and we were going to track long, but that wasn't the case. I went all the way down to my initial analysis thoughts, and that's why sometimes using the CFD charts is quite good, because you don't see all this noise in between. Sometimes it can throw you. It threw me, and now we're behind the 8 ball just for this little period, and I'm hoping that we can get a really strong reaction, particularly in 8 minutes time when we flick to a new 30-minute candle. I'm hoping it's going to get really bullish, because it would look really good on a chart. Other traders will start to see that kind of activity and say, right, it's outside these Bollinger Bands, let's push it in the other direction. It's not always the case though, obviously. Same on the 15 minute, it'd look really good if the market pushed it in the other direction. We've got 7 minutes to go before the 30-minute candle changes, and this 5 minutes really just hovering around. So this is where patience comes in. I've got to really just wait for the market to take me in the right direction. And of course, it may not be the case. It doesn't always do what I think it will, and often I take quite a bit of heat before the market actually respects the analysis that I was providing. And we're back. We're in a slight loss now. Just need the market to kind of give a real big push off these levels. It might spike down and perhaps collect this breakout short level. And if we can see in the order flow, it's going to respect the level with a massive, perhaps bid side order as a limit. That would be really nice. So that's 9 contracts there. I think it's going to take a bit more than that to turn this market back around. We've got 6. And then we've got some aggressive buying, it looks like. But it's not much. It's quite thin comparative to, I guess, the position of market we're in. We're at the low for the day. And we're not getting too much activity just yet. So just waiting it out. Perhaps, with the position, it may be that we're just coming down to clean out some weak hands and before we go long. So any stop losses here for buyers are just getting cleaned up because we've got that Bollinger Band situation on these other accounts, but I could be wrong. Looks very bearish on the 15. And then not great on the M30 either. So it's looking a little bit grim. Now we're coming down to the breakout short level. Really need to see some activity here to take us in the right direction. We're $1,000 down for the day so far. Got 1,400 on the max trailing drawdown because I didn't close the trade that was in profit. I didn't close it at its max profit. So we got squeezed a little bit because of those rules. I'm really hoping this is going to hold, because if we can sort of push up off these levels and get a really good run up, that'll help buy me a little bit more drawdown so I can come back and go a little bit heavier tomorrow if I see the right opportunity. Yeah, Trek Lord, I'm not too sure on the difference between futures and spot. I think sometimes maybe the brokers take a little bit more heat than they need to sometimes, perhaps, and maybe that's why you're seeing that. They sort of, they're making the market more in line with their market rather than with the futures directly. So not too sure. I haven't particularly noticed that myself. But you could be right. There might be a bit more motion in the futures with the brokers making the market a little bit slower, at a little bit slower of a pace. Now this is looking not great at all. I think we'll probably pop down a little bit lower because there'll be a lot of stops just below this point, I think. We've only got $1,000 left on the trailing drawdown, so this might be the end of this account. Got $900 remaining. We really need to see something come in. We've got 2 minutes until the next 30-minute candle comes in. Here we go. There's some buying, 13 contracts, not enough apparently. It's really tight, so we've got 800. Got some buying coming in now, forming a wick. We've got 2 minutes till the 30-minute candle changes over, and the 15, of course. We really need people to see the opportunity there to get long. Alternatively, if this market just keeps dropping, then I think I'll be knocked out of the race here. It's really disappointing the way that the Apex Trader Funding trailing drawdown does work, because ultimately I've had all winning days on this account, and yesterday, simply because the market ran and then had a pullback before I got out, still in profit, it's put the squeeze on me, so it's quite frustrating. I'm hoping these levels will hold. We've got another minute, and I think we'll see a bit of activity come in, and hopefully that is buying activity. We've got 1 minute to go, or 50 seconds, and the market's probably going to make a decision at that 30-minute mark, whether it's going to respect these levels in the Bollinger Bands or it's just going to fall. It's a really strong bearish candle though. It's going to take a lot of buying to reverse that. "10 seconds before the new candle comes in." We're still at a loss, so 400, 500 down, but we're above this breakout short level. 2 seconds. Need some massive buying to come in and save us here. That's the activity we want. We just need a lot more of it. That's a lot of bid side activity, which tells me that looks like aggressive selling. That's quite concerning because there's more sellers here by the look of it than aggressive buying. We want to see a lot of red side activity just smacking the ask orders. Meanwhile, my analysis on the order flow isn't always on point, so just keep that in mind. Obviously, I've gotten into this situation thinking the market was going to turn around and respect certain levels and reactions. It hasn't done that. So I could just be reading something incorrectly, or there's other players in the market. Yeah, I'm going to have to look them up. I'll look them up after this session. So Tradovate, their futures, I'll go and have a bit of a look. Also Tradovate is another one, but they're quite expensive. So they cost a lot more for the same amount of funding, but they do have the end of day drawdown. Is Tradovate, obviously I'll have a look at the pricing, but is it similar pricing and offers? Because I do like the 80% off kind of setups. 37, 38, I'm hoping that's, if that's aggressive selling, we're probably in quite a bit of strife here. There's a lot of contracts on the bid side. There we go, and that's being respected now. So that is not what I was after. I think that could be the exact thing I didn't want to see on these this order flow here. So because people are hitting the bid side, they're aggressively selling. And I can't imagine, because of the location of this contract and the price, I can't imagine that to be limit buying. But you never know, it could be the case. Daily payout, that's cool. I think the most important thing for me with a prop firm is the ability to pass, having the right rules, having the right infrastructure, that they don't deny you when you win. Okay, that's cool. Well, you're also more likely to pass, so I guess in that viewpoint, it's probably a lot better. I'm going to have a look at them soon. Have you had a go at Trade Day as well? They're quite similar by the sound of it. They don't have, they've got the option to have an end of day drawdown or trailing drawdown. And of course the trailing drawdown is a bit cheaper, but you end up getting squeezed like I was yesterday, even though you're in quite good profit. So if we can get a nice solid push up here, that's what we really need. Somebody's really holding this price point here. If we can break through this structure, that'll be very good, because we've got a lot of thin sort of trading up above this price point too. It's really taking quite some time to get up over it though. It's 50 contracts, and that doesn't look like limit buying to me because of where the price is coming from when it gets added on. It looks like aggressive selling to me. So, it is what it is. I don't want to get out at this price. But based on the order flow alone, I'm not overly happy with the look of what's going on here. Based on the pivots, based on the Bollinger Band, I really like the look of the trade, but this looks like aggressive selling. Again, I could be wrong, because often I get in way too early on these trades. And perhaps I've just gotten in way too early here and I've ridden it out, and I'm hoping these levels will be respected and we can come back and play in another day or two. 63, somebody's really holding that level. That's massive compared to, what do we got down here is 26. So we're on a new candle here, 63. Look, somebody's determined to hold this price level. I don't know if they're getting in on limit orders or not. That's the one. Yeah, great. Actually, I don't know if Tradovate offer DAX trading. I think they might only offer Forex. So Tradovate, I'm definitely going to have a look at that. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm probably going to pack it up here, but what I'll be doing is just watching and hoping this market respects these levels like that. We need some more buying to come in. That looks strong. If we can get a lot more of that activity, break all of this structure down here, I'll be quite happy. Alternatively, if we go below this pricing down here and we start heading towards the S2, I'm either going to get stopped out because of that max trailing drawdown, or I'm going to close it manually and try and come back again tomorrow. But at the moment, I'm thinking I'm just going to end the session and just watch to see if the market does power up like I'm hoping, or alternatively, it's going to come back the other way and really cause a bit of havoc. We're at 50, we're almost at break even. It's like it wants to do, it's like it wants to respect what's going on. We've breached the lows, so we've come down and taken out any weak hands that are just below the previous day's low. And I'm hoping this is the start of the rally to get all the way up to perhaps the R1 up here. We've already filled the close gap, so it's no longer really a target. But I will be watching if we do get close to that close gap regardless. Ideally, I'd like to close the session at break even at least. So I've got to try and make about $600 on this particular trade. And it's just more of a waiting game. So I don't want to bore everyone. We've kind of watched the market in its key critical moments, and now it's just about watching and waiting for the market to respect that analysis. And we'll see how we go. Hopefully I'll be back again tomorrow, guys, and I'll share my experience and obviously run through the analysis as always. Give me a like if you've been watching and you like what's been happening on the screen and the analysis that comes with it. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much again, Treklord, for being active in the chat. I'll go and check out that Tradovate. Yeah, no, you're right. By that perspective, the only issue is I kind of want to clear up this trailing drawdown as well. It's really kind of grinding my gears. I do like the look of this setup, but again, it's just the patience factor. Yeah, so I think if the Tradovate has a better option, I will be really tempted to go and have a look at that. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to head off and just watch the market and hope it goes in the right direction. Hopefully come back again tomorrow. And yeah, best of luck with your trading. Have a good one. Bye.